Everyone noticed I stopped chasing after Pei Ji, including Pei Ji himself. After school, he blocked my way with a cold face. I'll only explain the thing about standing you up once, believe it or not, that's up to you. The Ting Yu got cornered by some drunk guy. I went to help her. I forgot to let you know. That's on me. That day was her birthday. He got in a fight for Li Ting Yu, and I got left at the amusement park all day. Turns out, Pei Ji thought I was just being petty about this. I shook my head lightly. It's okay. Then under his dark, unread again, I quietly walked past him and laughed. He didn't know that because he ditched me again that day, the system ruled my mission a failure. In a month, I'll be eliminated and sent back to the real world. And this body will be taken over by its original owner again. When the amusement park staff reminded me for the third time that they were about to close, the system sighed. Fu, go home. Pei Ji isn't coming. He's with Li Tingyi right now. And he's already forgotten he agreed to meet you at the amusement park today. I shifted my aching feet, picked up the cake box, and turned to leave.
Okay.
The excitement I felt this morning had completely worn off. All that was left was a calm emptiness. Even when I heard the system announce my mission had failed. In 1 month, you'll be in a car accident. That's your punishment for failing the mission. When you're badly hurt and unconscious, I'll send you back to the real world. As for this body, the original owner will take over again. After the system finished notifying me it disappeared, I pulled out my phone to call a rat, but then noticed the battery was almost dead. The next second, it shut off and went black. I didn't have any cash on me to hail a cab either. I finally gave up and started walking home along the road. Even though failing the mission was expected, right now, an overwhelming exhaustion still flooded through me. Every step felt incredibly heavy. From the amusement park to home, I passed by the school on the way. On Saturday, outside what should have been a quiet, empty campus, right now on a bench not far from the school gate, sat 2 people I knew very well. Li Tingyu was holding a little snack cake with a single match stuck in it. I'm sorry, Pei Ji. I just found out today's your birthday. I didn't have time to get a real cake. This is all I have. I hope you don't mind. The guy across from her had some fresh scratches on his face. His forehead was wrapped in bandages, but his bangs covered the bandages, making them barely visible, giving him a lazy, boyish vibe. He didn't think the snack cake was ridiculous. He even cooperated by pulling out a lighter to light the match. I don't. I think it's great. Pei Ji's voice was as cold as always. But right now, I could faintly hear a trace of gentleness in it. I couldn't help but remember last night after school. In the school's baking classroom, I showed Pei Ji the birthday cake I'd spent several tries perfecting. Does it look good? He leaned against the doorframe with his arms crossed. He glanced at my hand, blistered from the oven, and said impatiently, seeing your hand makes me lose my appetite. I felt a little embarrassed and tried to hide my hand in my sleeve. Pei Ji looked tired. He came and dragged me. What are you hiding? You got burned and don't know to put medicine on it. Do you have a brain? Even though Pei Ji looked pretty annoyed. He applied the medicine gently and patiently. I worked up my courage again and asked stubbornly, Pei Ji, do you like the cake? The guy stared at the blisters on my hand, frowning. It's ugly as hell. The system tried to comfort me then. Don't listen to him. He's just mad you burned yourself making the cake, so he said that. He says the opposite of what he means. He actually cares about you. My thoughts snapped back. I stood quietly across the street, watching Pei Ji gently reassure the girl that he didn't mind this makeshift cake. I finally realized, even someone as difficult as Pei Ji, when he really likes someone, he'll be gentle or smooth out all his sharp edges. Be mindful of her pride, and couldn't bear to let her feel bad. I don't know what Pei Ji feels for me, but it's definitely not love. I looked away, about to leave. Li Tingyu noticed me. Xiu Fu, what are you doing here? Wei Di turned around, his eyes landed on the cake in my hands, and he froze for a moment, like he just remembered his promise to me today. Li Tingyu saw the cake too and understood. You came to find Pei Jia, right? I heard you were planning to celebrate his birthday at the amusement park today. Sorry about that. Because of me, you got stood up. Her apology sounded pretty half-hearted, like she was used to Pei Ji ditching me for her over and over. And I wouldn't really do anything about it anyway. At most I'd sulk for a day or two, then go right back to chasing after Pei Ji like nothing happened. I shook my head, denying her first statement. I was just passing by. Pei Ji stared at me hard, looking uneasy. Li Tingyu smiled. Obviously she thought I was just making an excuse to save face. Too tired to respond, I just said, good thing you brought the cake. You can still celebrate now. When she reached for the cake, I stepped back and shook my head. It's gone bad. You can't eat it. I pressed my lips together and said goodbye softly. Well, it's late. I'm heading home. Bye. Tingyu looked surprised. Usually I jump at any chance to stick close to Pei Ji. Now, I was giving them space on my own. I walked a few steps with the cake, then remembered something. I turned back and asked Li Ting, can I borrow $20? My phone died. I can't call a ride home. I'll take you. Almost the second I finished speaking, Pei Ji jumped in. He spoke fast, his voice tight. I acted like I didn't hear him. Li Ting hesitated. Yeah, sure. She found the money and handed it to me. Thanks, I'll pay you back Monday at school. I took it and left. The whole time I never looked at Pei Ji once. 4. Maybe because I knew I was going home soon. That night, I dreamed about my life in the real world. During a break between classes, I was reading a novel and crying. My deskmate was confused. Aren't you reading a romance? 记者, I saw. Not for the second male lead Pei Ji, it's not. His whole life was so high. He's had a crush on the female lead Li Tingyi since high school, but because he was poor and insecure. Even when he became a business mogul by the end, he never confessed, he just silently protected her. Worst of all, in high school, he kept getting bullied by this evil rich girl in the book, Shu Fu. My deskmate handed me a tissue. Your name is Tao Fu, hers is Xu Fu, your names are so similar. I slammed my desk. I'm ashamed of that. But that night I woke up inside this book in the body of Xu Fu, the character I hated most. The system demanded I win over Pei Ji. At this point Fu was the person he hated most. Difficulty triple S level. The system watched me looking exact. Hell level difficulty, and you're still this happy. Because I can change Pei Ji's terrible teenage years now. I jumped up happily. My bangs bounced. 吃一点苦, I'm gonna give him all the best things and not let him suffer one bit. The system had no hope for my mission. It said it was just waiting for time to run out so it could send me back to the real world. I spent 2 years trying to win over Pei Ji. Eventually, his affection for me got so high the system thought I'd actually win. But in the end, I still failed. To be fair, I have no right to blame Pei Ji. He's always like Li Tingyu. It's normal for him to give everything for her and put her first. I only figured this out recently, after I stopped liking Pei Ji.
Thanks.
After being out in the wind all day yesterday, I woke up the next morning, and sure enough, I had a cold. After taking medicine, I got a call from one of Pei Ji's friends. Fu, Pei's planning to do a makeup birthday today. Same amusement parts you guys agreed on before. You coming? Pei Ji never cared about birthdays. I figured he was trying to make up for yesterday. My voice was nasal when I spoke. You guys have fun. I'm going to the library today. The guy's voice moved away from the phone. Pei, Fu says she's not coming. I'll see you second. A short, mocking laugh came from the other end. Whatever. His attitude wasn't surprising. 是耐心, he never had much patience with me. This was already the biggest concession he could make. I couldn't help coughing twice. The guy noticed and said into the phone, Fu, you've got a cold. Then don't come. Get some rest. Before hanging up, I heard him ask, Hey, where'd Pei go? Someone answered, I think he went to the pharmacy. What's he buying medicine for? Didn't he just change his bandages? No idea. I went to the library with Su Fang. Fang, Xu Fu's childhood friend. Also the only person in this world who knows I'm on a mission. Not long after I entered this world, he figured me out. Xu Fang studied me and laughed coldly. Stop trying to lie, you can't fool me. Nobody knows Xu Fu better than I do. After I came clean about the mission, he was only surprised for a moment before accepting it. Maybe because I still had Xu Fu's face and body. These past 2 years, he's been good to me. He's one of my most important friends in this world. On the way to the library, I told him about failing the mission. So you're leaving in a little over a month?
Yeah.
The real Xu Fu will be back soon. You can reunite with your childhood friend. The messenger bag on Xu Fang's shoulder swayed with his steps, tapping lightly against his back now and then. He smiled but didn't respond. His eyes looked distant. 7. We didn't leave until the library closed. Xu Fang's house is right next to mine. At his gate, I stopped to say goodbye. Su Fang silently stared ahead at my front door. I followed his gaze. My eyes met Pei Ji's dark stare. He was wearing a black windbreaker, making his pale face look even colder. The scratches on his cheekbones and jaw gave him a slightly wild look. Now Pei Ji was holding a bag of medicine. I snapped back and turned to Xu Fan. You're home, go inside, bye. He could tell I didn't want him involved with my business with Pei Ji. He didn't ask questions, just nodded. Call me if you need anything. Xu Fang's door clicked shut. Pei Ji's gaze slowly shifted, watching me clutch my backpack strap as I walked up to him. Did you need something? He didn't but asked instead. Didn't you have a cold? You look pretty chipper chatting with him. I'd say you seem fine. As if to contradict him. My throat tickled and I couldn't help coughing twice. The mockery in Pei Ji's eyes faded a bit. 回去 I sniffled. If there's nothing else I'm going inside. The guy stepped sideways to block me. The cold radiating off him made my shoulder shiver. He must have been standing here a while, for his clothes to be this cold. Why are you out running around with him when you're sick? Pei Ji shoved the bag of medicine into my arms with a cold expression. Also, about yesterday and standing you up. I'll only explain once, believe it or not, that's up to you. He wasn't good at apologies, his explanation was pretty brief. Li Tingyu got cornered by some drunk guy yesterday. I went to help her. But I forgot to tell you, so you waited all that time. That's on me. Pei Ji isn't the type to bother with explanations. Him coming to find me today really was surprising. But aside from that, I didn't feel anything else. I handed the medicine back to him and looked up. Thanks, but I can't take your stuff. I can buy my own medicine. And I accept your apology about yesterday. Is there anything else? I really need to go home. Pei Ji pressed his lips tight, his eyes locked. like silently asking, "What's wrong with you?" For a moment, I didn't get his answer and assumed he was fine. I quietly said goodbye and walked past him into the house. Back in my room, I looked down from the window. The guy stood there in silence for a long time. Then, like he finally realized something, he let out a cold laugh. He casually threw the medicine into a nearby trash can and left without expression. Pei Ji should understand what I meant. This time, I wasn't throwing a tantrum. I completely gave up on him. Probably because I was the one who chased Pei Ji the longest and made the biggest scene about it. So when I suddenly went quiet and gave up on him, nobody really noticed. During PE class, the boys in class formed teams to play basketball. Both Pei Ji and Xu Fang got injured. When I heard the news, I rushed to the nurse's office. When Pei Ji fights, he's not only ruthless but also very skillful. He almost never loses. Over the past 2 years, his reputation has grown enough to intimidate the troublemakers around school from causing problems. This also earned him a bunch of followers who admire his strength. In the nurse's office, Pei Ji was surrounded by a group of guys, while Xu Fan only had the class monitor asking how he was doing. When Pei Ji's buddies saw me, they grinned mischievously. Hey, Fu. Pai is fine, no need to panic like that, okay? Don't think your crush is that weak. Pei Ji tensed up and didn't even look up. I didn't expect that even Pei Ji's buddies hadn't noticed I stopped chasing him these past few days. I could only pretend I didn't hear them. I walked around them and went to Xu Fan. Are you badly hurt? Do you want me to skip class and go to the hospital with you? After all, Xu Fang had taken care of me when I was sick before. The nurse's office was quiet but not peaceful. More like the air was thick with tension, suppressing all sounds. He glanced casually at Pei Ji's back. It's nothing. Just hurts a bit. He smiled, looking at me with some difficulty. Nobody's gonna help me back to class. Fu, help me out. I nodded. Xu Fang put his arm on my shoulder and limped away. After that, everyone seemed to realize something. They stopped making jokes about me and Pei Ji. A few days later, the system appeared again without warning. It brought a new task. I specially requested this for you. If the task succeeds, you won't feel any pain in that car accident when you leave. The system said, next week is your senior graduation ceremony, right? To avoid interfering with college prep, the school moved the graduation ceremony to early in the second semester. I heard each class can only put on one performance. Fu, you just need to successfully get this performance slot, and the task will be complete. The next day, I saw on the class monitor's sign-up sheet that besides me, 3 other people signed up to compete for this slot. Li Tingyi applied for a piano performance. The arts committee member signed up for a solo, and one guy planned to do stand-up comedy. Like the arts committee member, I signed up for a solo. After all, this was the only thing I was still decent at. The class monitor said for fairness, we 4 should record our complete performances and play them during class meeting. The class would vote to choose the final performance to represent our class. The class meeting didn't produce a result either, because Li Tingyu and I tied for first place. The class monitor looked frustrated. Is there anyone who hasn't voted yet? Pei Ji hasn't voted, he didn't come to school today. Finally, the class monitor decided that in 3 days, Li Tingyu and I would have a revote. Xu Fan looked really annoyed. The class is split 50-50 between supporting you and Li Tingyu right now. Only Pei hasn't taken a side. But do we even need to ask? He's definitely gonna vote for Li Tingyu. Xu Fang and I sat by the floor-to-ceiling window in the bubble tea shop. Outside was the intersection of a busy road. Cars sped by rapidly. The impact looked visibly intense. It instantly reminded me of the car accident I was about to face. Saying I wasn't scared would be a lie. I held the warm bubble tea cup. I want to try. Try what? Convincing Pei Ji to vote for me. When I used to like Pei Ji, pleasing him came naturally. Now even talking to him feels awkward and unfamiliar. The day before voting, right when the dismissal bell rang, I gathered courage and walked to Pei Ji's seat. Are you free right now? He leaned back in his chair and looked up. You need something from me? I nodded twice. Light footsteps sounded behind me. Pei Ji. It was Li Tingyi. Will you come with me after school tonight to feed the stray cats? Disappointment was just creeping into my head. When I lowered my head, ready to leave, Pei Ji said, I'm busy tonight. Li Tingyi probably didn't expect him to refuse. She was stunned for a moment, then smiled. Okay, alright. Then I'll go by myself. Everyone in the classroom left quickly. Pei Ji lowered his eyelids and didn't look at me. So, what's up? I quickly pulled out a tube of ointment from my bag. I saw the wound on your face hasn't healed yet, so I bought this. Such a clumsy way to win favor. My purpose was completely obvious. After speaking, I also closed my eyes to avoid it. I prepared myself for his mockery. Pei Ji's expression didn't change. He took it and examined it in his hand. I suddenly had an inspiration and tried to speak. How about I help you apply the medicine? Pei Ji's answer was to hand the ointment right back to me. I moved the chair to sit beside him. I dipped a cotton swab in the ointment and carefully dabbed it on his wound. In the classroom, there was only brief conversation. Pei Ji, turn your face this way a little. Is this a wound too? This hasn't scabbed over yet. Will applying medicine hurt? No. After applying the medicine, I was organizing my words, thinking about what topic to bring up to smoothly lead into the voting matter. He cut straight to the point. Just say it. What do you need me to do? Being seen through made me embarrassed and flushed. After a while, I took a deep breath and looked directly at him. For tomorrow's performance vote, can you vote for me? This spot is really important to me. First time bribing someone, I was stuttering. Are you hungry? I'll treat you to dinner. When I continued tentatively mentioning buying him a computer or game console, Pei Ji interrupted me. 师傅. He looked at me intently. After a long while, his low voice sounded in my ear. If you want my vote, answer one question. What? Do you like Xu Fan? I shook my head. We've always just been friends. Does this have anything to do with your vote? He didn't answer, but the coldness in his eyes faded a lot. The guy stood up, seeming ready to leave. I bit my lip. So, will you vote for me tomorrow? Pei Ji stretched his neck and slung his backpack over his shoulder, walking out of the classroom casually. Before the class meeting, my deskmate asked me in surprise, why are you so happy? Even every strand of your hair seems excited. I smiled without saying anything. I can go home pain-free. The class bell rang. The class monitor walked to the podium and started counting. Oh, right. Before counting votes, let me ask Pei Ji, you voted this time, right? I turned to look at him, my eyes unable to hide my smile. The guy met my gaze and suddenly looked away. I voted. A bad feeling suddenly rose in me. The class monitor counted vote by vote. I felt every second was slow and torturous. Alright, that's all. Finished counting. Li Tingyu wins by 1 vote. The girl smiled brightly. Thanks everyone for supporting me. The class monitor nodded. I'll submit your performance after class. My fingers loosened. The pen rolled and hit the floor. The crisp sound drew quite a few people's attention. In the quiet air, a snickering laugh suddenly came through. No way, what's with that expression? What is she even surprised about? Wasn't Pei Ji voting for Li Tingyu a done deal? I mean, after 2 whole years, how does she still think she matters more to Pei Ji than Li Tingyu? Seriously, hilarious. As soon as the words fell, a book slammed onto that person's desk. Xu Fang smiled. Got the guts to say it louder. I stared blankly at my fingertips, feeling like the mocking voices came from somewhere far away, echoing and pounding against my eardrums again and again. The last sound was the system's helpless sigh. Fu. You failed again. Xu Fang found me behind the basketball hoop in the gym. It had been half an hour since school ended. The guy crouched in front of me, looking helpless. Fu. I hugged my knees, staring blankly. Xu Fan, I read online that when you get hit really hard, you might pass out before feeling any pain. Do you think that's true? Xu Fan's jaw tightened. Pei Ji, that bastard. The next second, the bastard he mentioned appeared in view. Xu Fang shot up. You still dare to shout? Pei Ji's buddy stepped in front of Pei Ji. Can you not just blow up without knowing the facts? He frowned and looked at me. Class before voting, Li Tingyu came to find Pai and said her parents were getting divorced. Her mom was about to go abroad to start a new life. She wanted her mom to see her perform on stage before leaving, so Pei changed his decision at the last minute. The guy looked confused. Fu, did you really have to compete with Li Tingyu? Fan gritted his teeth. You guys don't get it. You have no idea how important this spot was to her. I stood up and blocked Xu Fang from saying more. Let's go. I want to go home. Pei Ji called out to me in a hoarse voice. Why is this spot so important? He stepped closer to me, looking down at me. If you really want to perform on stage, I can contact the student council to help you get an extra spot so you can perform under the student council's name. After speaking, he softly added, okay. The guy's eyes trembled slightly, like he was panicking about losing his grip on something. Xu Fang roughly pushed him away. Stay away from her. Forget the student council. Even if you got all the spots now, it wouldn't matter. How could Fu have ever liked a jerk like you? Then he grabbed my wrist. Fu, let's go. Walking out of the gym, where I couldn't see Pei Ji, I finally felt the air around me wasn't so suffocated. The car accident might be very painful. Or, maybe I'll pass out before feeling the pain. At the moment, I suddenly made peace with it. Either way is fun. As long as I can go home, back to that world without Pei Ji. Besides announcing my mission failure, the system asked me one more question before disappearing. Fu, after you return to that world, do you want to forget everything here? I can erase your memory. Time in that world has been frozen since the day you came here. If you choose to erase it, you'll just think you had a vague dream when you go back, then wake up and go to school as usual. The room was completely quiet. The system didn't rush me. It knew this needed careful thought. After a long while, I heard myself say, okay. With graduation ceremony, Li Tingyi practiced very hard. During breaks, you could sometimes hear her using her desk as a piano, humming melodies as her fingers played. During lunch break, she put on her new dress. Do you think wearing this for the performance will be too formal? Not at all, it looks great. Really? She ran over to Pei Ji's seat and spun around, holding her skirt. What about you, Pei Ji? Do you like it? Xu Fang was worried about my mood and came to find me. Fu, want to go out and get some fresh air? I looked up from my test paper and saw Xu Fang's nervous expression. I'm fine. I tapped the paper with my pen. I'm preparing for the English competition. The competition is in half a month. Just a few days before I leave. The system says I'm different from other mission takers. I'm a soul transmigrator, not a body swapper. So even on my last days here, I have to live and study like normal. Can't leave any mess for the original owner. But when the English teacher told me Pei Ji also made it to the finals, and that she planned to have the two of us practice competition problems together in her office every morning, noon, and evening study hall, I couldn't help but speak up. Teacher, can I withdraw from the competition? Pei Ji, standing to the side, clenched his hands at his sides. Under the harsh fluorescent lights, his lowered lashes trembled slightly, his face looking a bit pale. He seemed covered in a hazy layer of dust, inexplicably dejected. The English teacher didn't even ask why. She refused flat out. No way. This competition is really prestigious. You both need to take it seriously. Okay, teacher. Fortunately, Pei Ji doesn't talk much. Even though we practice together in the office every morning, noon and evening, we barely exchange any words. After we finish the quiz, the teacher just tosses the answer key over. Give me the essays. For the rest, you two swap papers. Grade each other's work. If you don't get something, come ask me. Not sure if it's because I spent too long thinking about one wrong answer. Pei Ji wrote out the explanation on scratch paper. Just as he pushed it to my hand, the teacher noticed. Hey Pei Ji, just explain it to her directly. It's best if you two can explain wrong answers to each other. When the teacher stepped out to get hot water, I took his explanation. Thanks. She also said you can explain it directly. Pei Ji paused, then said quiet. I thought you didn't want to talk to me. My eyes swept quickly over the reading passage. I hummed without looking up. But the teacher just asked you to. The guy's pen tip pressed on the test paper, not moving for a long time. It bled into a dark blot. The closer it got to competition time, the longer the English teacher kept us for evening practice. Sometimes she'd even go over by an hour. That day, the teacher went nearly an hour and a half over before letting us go. The school was practically empty. I shook my head, clearing out the English letters, and picked up my pace. Suddenly, a muffled groan came from behind me. I stopped and turned around. Pei Ji was clutching his stomach, his other hand braced against the wall. He could barely stand. His bloodless face showed how serious it was. I pressed my lips together in annoyance and walked back. Pei Ji, are you okay? He tried to straighten up. Failed. I'm fine. His trembling voice made his words totally unconvincing. I sighed silently. So tired. Just want to go home. The entire building was already empty. I had no choice but to call the driver and have him come up to help Pei Ji get to the hospital. The driver helped him register. I supported Pei Ji as we headed to the emergency room. Soon after, we took the forms to get tests done. By the time we got back to the exam room, even the driver was out of breath. The doctor wrote out a prescription while saying, acute gastritis, he needs an IV. Just take him straight to the IV room. Pei Ji turned to look at me, barely able to keep my eyes open. His eyes darkened. Sorry for keeping you from going home. I'm not hurting as much now. I can go get the IV myself. You guys should go. I was about to say something when a familiar figure came into view. I breathed a sigh of relief and waved at her. Li Tingyi, we're over here. The moment the words left my mouth, my wrist was grabbed tight. Pei Ji pulled me to face him, a storm brewing in his eyes. You called her here. I struggled a bit. What's wrong? Pei Ji, let go of me. Instead, he pulled me even closer. Do you hate me that much now? I was baffled by his sudden anger. What are you talking about? Why her of all people? Pei Ji's voice was ice cold. Trying to prove something to me. That you don't care about me and Li Tingyi anymore. That you're even willing to set us up. Is that it? Say something, Xu Fu. It took me a second to realize what he was getting at. I texted his brother to come keep him company for the IV. He's the one who passed it off to Li Tingyi. I dragged myself here to get him to the hospital, and now he's questioning me. It felt absurd. My exhaustion instantly turned to anger. I yanked my hand free from Pei Ji and stepped back. You're right, Pei Ji. I looked at him blankly. I really don't care about you two anymore. But I'm not bored enough to waste my time setting you up. You just don't matter that much to me anymore. Whether you two are together or not has nothing to do with me. Also, if you're sick in the future, don't force yourself to come to school. If something like today happens again, it's a burden on other people. Pei Ji stared at me hard, intense emotions surging in his eyes. Li Tingyi had already come over. I didn't say a word and left with the driver. Things between Pei Ji and me hit rock bottom. Morning study hall, the English teacher went to an early meeting. Just the two of us left in the office. After we finished grading each other's English quiz, he was about to explain the wrong answers like usual. I took back my quiz without looking up, tone polite. Thanks, but I can correct it myself, no need to bother explaining. The only sound left in the office was pen scratching on paper. Pei Ji stayed silent for a long time, then, like at the start, he wrote out the explanation on scratch paper and pushed it over. The movement was so light, like he was afraid to disturb something. I didn't move my eyes even a fraction. I crumpled the paper into a ball and tossed it in the trash without hesitation. There's always a way to solve wrong answers, even if it wastes a little more time. I don't want to say another word to him. Things between Pei Ji and me stayed like this until the competition ended. Only one day left until I leave. I thought Pei Ji and I would never cross paths again. Late winter turning to early spring. This inland city felt even drier. The neighborhood and streets were plastered with fire prevention and safety check reminders. But clearly, the school didn't take it seriously. The old physics lab building caught fire from faulty wiring. Our class happened to be having lab there. As the fire grew, the teacher calmly evacuated students downstairs, then finally relaxed enough to call 911. When the class monitor was doing head count, she suddenly shouted, "Where's Xu Fu? Xu Fu, where is Xu Fu?" Oh no, I just remembered, before the fire, the teacher sent her to the classroom next door to get weights. Pei Ji and Shi Fang's expressions changed instantly. The fire quickly spread to the classroom next door. My foot was still stuck in the multimedia cabinet. The cabinet panel warped and jammed into my ankle. Thick smoke poured in through the half-open window in huge clouds. I choked and coughed nonstop. For a moment, I thought it was time to leave early. Maybe the system arranged this fire just to send me home. But then Pei Ji showed up. His breathing was uneven. He clearly ran back. What happened? I covered the lower half of my face. I was reaching for a weight that fell in there, and my ankle got stuck. Can't pull it out. Pei Ji knelt in front of me and checked. Good thing it's not deep. Pei Ji broke the cabinet panel and pulled it out easily with a light tug. The fire gradually blocked the door. Pei Ji frowned when he saw it, scooped me up, and ran out. I squirmed reflexively. He glanced down at me. You can't walk out on your own. No matter how much you hate me, you'll have to put up with it for now. I leaned against his shoulder, my face hot with embarrassment. Thanks. Pei Ji pressed his lips together and carried me out of the building quickly. I was set back on the ground. Xu Fang also ran out from another exit. I hobbled over quickly. Are you hurt? He just shook his head when someone behind us shouted. The window's fallen. Watch out. You have a window from the third floor, one side of its frame bent through. Was falling straight toward us. No time to react or run. A hand from behind shoved me hard. Su Fan and I stumbled but dodged the window frame. But it hit Pei Ji's shoulder. The impact almost drove him to his knees. His brother rushed over to steady him. Pei, you okay? He shook his head without saying anything. My eyes stayed on the fine beads of sweat on his forehead. Xu Fang nodded at him. Thanks, man. If you're hurt, say so. You got injured for us, we'll definitely take care of it. Pei Ji's lips twitched slightly. He didn't respond. Xu Fang snorted, like he thought he was being ungrateful. Let's go, Fu. He's fine. We don't need to kiss up to him. The two of them still couldn't stand each other. Pei Ji straightened out and saw I was still looking at him. His throat bobbed. He looked away. I'm fine. You guys can go. He went back to that cold, distant look that kept everyone at arm's length. But just now, when he rushed over to push me out of the way, the panic in his eyes was impossible. The class manager noticed the wound on my ankle. Xiu Fu, you need a tetanus shot. You can't walk easily. Get someone to go with you. Su Fang said naturally. I'll go with you. Pei Ji turned with his brother, about to head back to class. I called out to him. Pei Ji, do you have time to go to the hospital with me? He froze and turned around. The uncertainty in his dark eyes gradually settled. I talked Su Fang into going back and went to the hospital with Pei Ji. He registered at the service tia. I reminded him to register for 2. Your shoulder needs to be checked too. Pei Ji paused for a few seconds, then did as I said and registered too. After I got my shot, Pei Ji came out with the medicine the doctor prescribed. On a bench outside the hospital, I swung my leg slowly. Pei Ji, thanks you so much today. You saved me twice and saved Su Fan too. I turned to look at him. Can I ask why you don't like Su Fang? He glanced at me sideways, tone slightly cold. Why? I just wanted to ask if you two have some kind of misunderstanding. If you do, you can clear it up. Xu Fang's not a bad guy. I remember the original story didn't go into detail about what happened to Xu Fang. But since Pei Ji is going to become a top player in this city later, having a bad relationship with him can't be good for Xu Fan. Before I leave, I hope I can still do something for Xu Fan. Pei Ji gave a derisive smirk, eyes lowered. So you deliberately brought me to the hospital, got me treated, tried to butter me up just to make peace for your childhood friend. You can't stand people disliking him. He looked at me like he was mocking me. Didn't you say you don't like him? How did he jump to me liking Su Fang? I explained, confused. I brought you here because I heard you got hurt by the window frame. It has nothing to do with Su Fang. I said all that just as a good friend. I don't want him to be misunderstood. I still can't get through to Pei Ji. I gave up trying to persuade him and got ready to call a cab back to school. Pei Ji beside me suddenly spoke. About last time, I'm sorry. I looked at him when I heard that. Pei Ji said when I had gastritis and was getting an IV, I thought you were setting up Li, Tingyi, and me. I panicked and lost my temper at you. The small path outside the hospital was quiet. So quiet I could even hear Pei Ji's catch before he spoke. He wasn't as calm as he seemed on the surface. Xu Fu, I don't like Li Tingyi. Never have. Pei Ji said he went to the same middle school as Li Tingyi. In 7th grade, he didn't know how to fight yet. He got cornered by thugs. Li Tingyi happened to pass by and called the cops, saving him. Out of gratitude, I treated her better and better. Never turned down anything she asked. People said I liked Li Tingyi. I'd never liked anyone before, didn't know if that's what it was. Later everyone said I did. So I thought maybe I really did like her. He paused almost imperceptibly, his voice dropping lower. Until I met you. It's really late. I cut him off casually and stood up to stretch. School should be out by now. I'm heading home. See you. It slowly dawned on me what he was trying to say. Why he was so hostile towards Sam. And why he got so mad when he thought I was trying to set him up with Li Tingyi. You. I turned and walked a few steps. Pei Ji called up and blocked my path. You don't want to hear me say it, so I won't. Not yet. The boy leaned down slightly, meeting my eyes. Xu Fu, I know I'm less than a stranger to you right now. I've done so many things that hurt you. So you gave up on me. I looked down at my feet, unmoved by his words. Why is it always like this? After the system told me the mission failed, he told me he could get me a spot on stage. I'm about to be sent home. And now he suddenly says he's always liked me. Pei Ji's whole view of love got twisted later on. When his voice softened like that, it sounded like he was trying to coax someone. I'll make it up to you, Xu Fu, I don't need you to. Pei Ji hummed softly, smiling just a little. It's not for you. It's what I want to do. Tomorrow's Saturday again. Want to go to the amusement? I refused coldly. I'm not going. I'm going home tomorrow. Pei Ji didn't seem surprised by my answer. Then I'll go by myself. I'll bring a cake and stand at the amusement park entrance all day. You're insane. Pei Ji let out a soft laugh. Maybe. Xu Fu, it's okay if you don't come. I just want to know how you felt that day. I didn't take Pei Ji's words to heart. He truly didn't matter to me anymore. I don't know why, but the closer it got to going home, the calmer I felt. So calm that the night before leaving, I still slept soundly. The next day, the system that had been gone for so long reappeared. Tiao Fu, I'm here to take you home. It called me by my real name. I left the house like any other day. After saying quote the only person in this world who knew my real identity, I left with my backpack, as if it were no different from any other day. I was just going to the library to study. I'd be back when it closed. My steps grew lighter. Each one felt soft, like walking on clouds. When the system said it was time, I stopped, saying goodbye to this 2-year-long dream. Bye. I'm going home. End of main story. Bonus. Chapter 11 in the morning. Pei Ji had been standing at the amusement park entrance for 4 hours. He probably knew Xu Fu wouldn't come. So, he hadn't expected much from the start. But his heart still sank anyway. Crowds flowed around him. People kept glancing his way, curious how long this guy, who looked like he'd been stood up, was going to wait. So this was it. This was how Xu Fu had stood there, pushing through the awkwardness, full of hope, waiting for him all day. End up, staying until closing. He left early. Because he got a call had been in a car accident, was rushed to the hospital with serious injury. Xu Fu woke up on the 3rd day after the accident. Pei Ji had been at her bedside the whole time. His voice was hoarse. Are you anywhere? How are you feeling? Anything hurt? The girl shook her head sweetly. I'm a little thirsty. Pei Ji immediately poured a glass of warm water. Xu Fu didn't take it. She just looked at him and smiled brightly. Pei Ji, will you help me drink it? The boy looked up in disbelief after a long moment. He murmured okay, and brought the glass to her lips. His movements were gentle. If you looked closely, they were even trembling. Fang stood at the hospital room door, quietly watching the scene. A moment later, he left with no expression on his face, and holding onto a sliver of hope. Maybe when she woke up would still be Tao. Maybe she hadn't been sent away because of some glitch. But now it was clear. The real Xu Fu had come back. Xu Fu inherited all of the attacker's memories from the past 2 years. Also, she knew her family would go bankrupt, and her own future wouldn't be pretty. And this boy in front of her, the one she'd bullied and tormented, he was going to be pretty successful down the line. She could tell Pei Ji had fallen for her. Or more accurately, fallen for Tao Fu. But that didn't matter. She'd keep imitating Tao Fu and stay with Pei Ji to avoid a tragic ending later. She didn't mind pretending forever, even until they got married. But even though she'd gotten pretty good at imitating, Pei Ji still noticed something was off before long. Got out of the hospital, she said she forgave him and agreed to be with him. That night after school, Pei Ji walked her home. At her front door, the girl stood on her toes to kiss him. Pei Ji didn't know why, but when he met her dark eyes, he instinctively pulled away. Zhu Fang happened to pass by. He scoffed and walked off calmly. Pei Ji watched his back thoughtfully. Xu Fu tugged his hand. What's wrong? Pei Ji snapped back and squeezed her fingertips. Nothing. You should head in Su. Xu Fu's eyes went cold, but she still smiled and said okay. Why is this idiot so hard to handle? Pei Ji didn't believe in ghosts or anything science couldn't prove. But he believed what he saw. The girl in front of him looked the same. Even her habits were similar to before. But it still made him uneasy. And then there was Su Fang's reaction just now. Hadn't he always liked Xu Fu? Why hadn't he been around her lately? Even when he heard the two of them got together, he barely reacted. Pei Zha followed his instincts and chased after Hao Feng. Wait. Shu Fan turned around. What? Even though it all sounded absurd, he still asked, where's Xu Fu? I mean the real Xu Fu. Shu Fang's expression changed instantly. The system hadn't expected things to turn out like this. The target had awakened. He could even talk to it. I'll pay any price. I need to see her. The system thought it hadn't met someone this stupidly devoted in forever. Tiao Fu chased him for 2 years and he ignored her the whole time. Now she's gone and completely forgotten him. And he says he'll give up everything to find her. It was silent for a long time before saying, fine. Tiao Fu went back through a car accident. If you want to go, same method, just more painful. You'll get run over by a truck. Second, and this is the most important part, You'll go to another world, but you can never be with Tao Fu. You'll only be able to watch her fall for someone else, date them, marry them, spend her life with them. Until her, you'll just be a stranger or a friend. If you let her figure out you like her, you'll become the person she hates most. That's your setting. Even so, you still want to go? I thought Pei Ji would at least think about it. But he just listened quietly and nodded. Okay. I never thought she'd end up with me. I just want to see her. Cool moonlight fell on his shoulders. He looked calm and rational. Whatever role I have to play doesn't matter, as long as I can stay by her side. The system remembered 2 years ago when Tao Fu first arrived. The boy in front of it had been withdrawn and bitter, radiating a faint sense of world weariness. Without realizing it, Tao Fu had changed him in so many ways. Alright then. I'll come back for you in 3 days. I'll send you over then. I'm warning you, once you go, you can never come back. Got it. Her deskmate thought Tao Fu changed fast. Fu, you lose interest in everything after 3 minutes. You were literally saying you liked Pei Ji just a few days ago. I went out of my way today to get you an autographed copy. How'd you suddenly stop liking him? It hasn't even been a week. Tao Fu felt a little embarrassed. She took the book with a smile. I don't know either, I just stopped liking him, can't explain it. But I still love the autograph. Thanks. Just as she said that, the warning bell rang. Someone in class said, we're getting a transfer student. I just passed the office and saw. Guy or girl? What do they look like? The homeroom teacher's figure already appeared outside the window. The conversation had to stop. Everyone, let me introduce our new transfer student. Wow, he's so handsome. Fu, look. Tao Fu was flipping through the book. That page was Pei Ji's first appearance. Before she could read it, she was pulled to look up. A breeze passed by. The boy's hair drifted gently across his forehead, making his features look even more refined. He opened his mouth to introduce himself. My name is